Hey everybody, welcome back to the Geek XP. My name is Bran, and today I wanted to talk about the concept of the end of the superhero blockbuster era. This is something that my friends and I were talking about a little while ago, but recently Steven Spielberg made a comment about how he thinks that superhero movies are going to go the way of westerns. That they're sort of like a niche thing that has become very popular recently, but if they don't change up their formula for how these movies, play out, that they are going to be reaching a decline, probably sometime pretty soon. And I think that's a perfect example of a similar genre that was very, very popular. It was a huge trend for a long time and then eventually fell away. Westerners, we have a couple movies like that now, but it's not as nearly as huge as it used to be. And I think superheroes are sort of our equivalent to the Westerns. We have these big heroes coming in, they stop the bad guy. There are a lot of similarities in a lot of different ways. I do think that there are some superhero films that do a good job of changing up the formula a little bit. Guardians of the Galaxy is a good example. While it's still a superhero film in the way it's presented and it's in the shared Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's more of a sci-fi film. And that, obviously they're in space, there are aliens, and they're shooting lasers and everything. But it's in that vein, but of a different formula. And when I watched it, it was very refreshing that they were able to do both. That it didn't follow the same exact track that a superhero movie does, but still felt like, Iron Man. Very fun, action-packed. You have this hero character and how they grow into their role as someone to protect the innocent. So I think that if Marvel explores more of their content in their comic books, similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, that aren't exactly the same as things like Spider-Man, the Avengers, Captain America, that can be a good way to expand upon concepts in the comic book universe as films that can increase the longevity of this trend with superhero movies dominating the box offices. This also brings up the concept of superheroes moving from the silver screen to the TV screen. And with series like Daredevil being a huge success. I mean, I love the first season. I barreled through that in like a weekend with my brother. It was awesome. But we have the Jessica Jones show coming out. We've got Iron Fist on the way. And I could see that becoming the new standard for how we as an audience consume our superhero content. If you think about it, it makes sense. Comic books are released on a issue-by-issue basis where we get this small piece of the story and it continues onward, where you could think of when they get compiled into a graphic novel, that's like a season of TV, and each issue is an episode. So in terms of the formula, it makes sense, and I think we're going to see a lot more of content, whether it's a book that would have been normally adapted into a film like 10 years ago, like the Harry Potter series, Percy Jackson, maybe, where those books are broken up into chapters, that can be episodes. So I think this goes beyond just superheroes and comic books, but also the media that has been the most popular to turn into film franchises, which are popular book series and novels, and now comic books, superheroes. I see that making a transition to episodes and TV series because it allows for the creators to really put more of the content in there, since they're allowed to spread it out in episodes. And I think that's one of the reasons why Game of Thrones has done so well, because I could see if they had turned that into a film franchise, it wouldn't have done as well because the fans would have been upset by the terrible lack of content that's in the books versus what have been able to fit in a movie. Audiences can only sit in a theater for so long. Our attention spans aren't that long as an American audience, standardly. Not a word, but so I could definitely see that becoming a trend. So even if the Western trend of superhero films ends, I could see it being transitioned to Netflix or other streaming services, or even having, more channels on TV. Like ABC has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's so good. It gets so good, guys. So I think this, while I think the superhero trend is ending, or it's on the decline now that we've been at the peak for a long time, I don't think it's necessarily the end for superheroes in pop culture and media. That being said, it's sort of a weird thing to think about, isn't it? Because superheroes have been a huge part of cinema for years now. Going back to things like the first X-Men film or the first Sam Raimi's Spider-Man film. those were like the real beginnings of what became this now huge cinematic monster that's totally taken over the box offices. And it's kind of weird to think that that's going to end. And what kind of movies are going to be the guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but really successful box office hits? What's really going to demolish those records and sell tickets? I don't know. It's hard to say what will take over, just because it's been such a long thing. Whether it will be giant monster movies will make a comeback, or whether it'll be something new. So it's kind of cool to think about. If you guys have any ideas about what's going to replace superheroes as the big box office, juggernaut, leave it down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure you tickle that like button, maybe spank it a little bit. It's okay. The like button sort of likes it. If you guys want to see more content and are new to the channel, please subscribe. Those of you who have already subscribed, thank you so much for all of your support. You guys are the best. You guys have been awarded some Geek XP, and I'll see you all next time.